blessing? You'll say the blessing when you do it. Are you going to sing the blessing?
I'm gonna sing it after she gets done doing the whole reading.
Got it.
Then I'll sing
The
it.
whole
Got
reading.
it. Yeah.
So I'll
After.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
I think we've got it under control as much as we can possibly.
It'll be what it'll be. And it'll be great. Let me just, Michael, you want to tell her to start? It's 7:30 already.
Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear me okay? I think I could say that. What about you? Are you, when you're standing up there, are you good for them?
Am I good for you?
Yeah. Oh, good, good. Yes. Yay. I like that. I like that. Good evening. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's nice to see the familiar faces, but it's also nice to see those I don't see very often. And it's good to have your family with you here. That's very nice and stuff. So, and some of you I don't know, so I'll talk to you after services just to say hello and get names and stuff. Rabbis at Green Family Camp this weekend, having a good time with the kids. So hopefully we'll have some good sermons from him in the future, because we lack in sermon when he's gone, but we do have Neil this evening who will give us our Devar Torah. Very learned gentleman, very interesting. I like it, so thank you so much for that. Okay, let us start. We're going to start on page 26 with the candle lighting. And we're going to have Joanne Barnes come up and do that. I'm going to glitch in my talk every minute or so. This is, what am I doing? So, Joanne, we're going to start on page 26.
Shabbat. A different light shines this day, a light pure and bright. Its glow is like that of an angel's. Its brightness fills my heart completely. I shall rejoice and be glad.
make it, oh, can you get it? There's none in there.
I think that's a little loud.
Yeah, I think so. That's all right. No one will be over here.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asmer shel Shabbat.
Praised are you, Holy One of blessing, whose presence fills the world, who hallows us with mitzvot and inspires us to kindle Shabbat lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And we're going to skip back to page 24. So, it's been a hot week. Some of us have suffered with it, like Neil, who works in a hangar with airplanes, no air conditioning. So let's talk a little bit about our tovu v'racha, our good and blessings for the week. Does anybody have any good and blessings? I'm particularly looking for small ones of awe, ones of mystery, ones of just pleasure that doesn't have to be a big deal, but if it's a big deal, then please let us know. But little ones. Yes, Toby.
I lost my phone and I found it.
Yay. How many have lost their phone and then said, I wish I could call my phone, but I don't have my phone, right? How do I call my phone? They should figure out something for that, definitely. Yes. Oh, again, ladies first. I don't know.
I got paid for the first time this week at my job.
Yay. So you're a struggling worker in the force now, right? Getting paid though, that's good. That's good. Actually, do you like it?
Yes.
Good, good. Silas. Good, good, good. Did I, yeah.
We had our annual meeting and we had enough folks to have a quorum, so it was very nice.
Very good, very good. Excellent, excellent. Yes, back there, Samantha. All right, accomplishment. That's good. Now you can let it rest and think about Shabbat more. Take a break. Yes.
I got my teaching assistant contract yesterday.
Excellent, excellent. Very good, very good. Any more? No? Okay. Before we start, now that we've talked about our material world and things that have happened to us and what we're thankful for and things that are good for us, I would now like us to take a little bit of a turn inward. Okay, we're going to take just a couple of minutes to settle ourselves into Shabbat, put the material world behind us, so that we can go through the service with a heart that is headed in the direction that we're looking for the peace of Shabbat and the peace of the world. So make sure all your phones are off and everything. I'm going to do a little breathing exercise. It won't take long. It's not hard, okay? But we're going to do a little breathing exercise that the breath will be a heavy, full intake of air through your nose, through your mouth. I don't think it makes a difference. I hear it both ways. But then when you release that air on the exhale, I want it to come slowly, not quickly. Hopefully, twice as long as the inhale. Let it come out slowly. And I think after doing 3, we'll do 3 of these breaths, you'll find that your shoulders will relax, that your whole body will start to just kind of, all right, finally. So I hope that happens for you, and then we'll begin our service, okay? So close your eyes, block out the world. We're coming inward to ourselves now. Take a deep breath in. As much as you can, let it out slowly. One more time. Last time.
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
Let us begin. We're on page 24. Enclosed and hidden, you are a garden, a still pool, a fountain. Stretching your limbs, you open a field of pomegranate blooms, treasured fruit among the blossoms, henna, sweet cane, bark, and saffron, fragrant woods and succulents, the finest spices and perfumes. Living water, you are a fountain, a well, a river flowing from the mountains. We sit here newly gathered before the face of our God, joining together to worship the eternal, to sanctify our existence. How shall we begin to search, to reach the sacred part of ourselves where rests the essence of all that is good? By stopping. By stopping our concerns for those things which distract us all week long, by welcoming the Sabbath bride, and by opening ourselves to hear the message, oh so silent, carried to us by the still, small voice of God.
Now we're going to sing Dodi Lee.
Page 25.
My beloved is mine, and I am my beloved's. Who feeds among the lilies? Who is this coming up to the desert? Burning myrrh and frankincense. You have reached my heart, my sister, my bride. Dodi li vani lo haroe bashashamim. Dodi li vani lo haroe bashashamim. Mi sotola min hamidbar, mi sotola. Uteret mor ulevona, mor ulevona. Libaftini, achoti kala, livhatini kala. Lihaftini, achoti kala, livani kala. Dodi li, vani lo haro e, Bashoshanim. Dodi li, vani lo haro e, Vashoshanim.
Skip over to page 27. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Chamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem la shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Chamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni la shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Chamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedkem la shalom, Ma'el HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Chamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
This is my heart's desire. In your mercy, do not conceal yourself. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Altogether on the bottom of 28. Oh God, you have searched me and know me well. You understand my thoughts and every word upon my tongue. Your presence surrounds me. You touch me with your hand, and your presence exceeds my own perception. It is a wonder beyond imagining. Hatzi Kaddish, page 29.
Yit Gadol, V'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad Yivrach Yerutei, V'yamlich Mahutei, B'chayechon, U'vyomechon, U'chayei Kobed Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kariv, V'yimaru Amen. Yeheshmei Rabba Mevorach, Le'alam ol almei amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitroman, V'yitnasei, V'yithadar, V'yitalei, V'yitalal, Shmid Kudashah, Barichu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush v'chata v'nechemata, damin ran b'yama, v'yimaru, amen.
Page 30, please stand for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch et Adonai hamorah. Baruch Adonai hamorah le'olam va'ed.
Responsively, Psalm 104 on page 30. Bless the Eternal, O my soul. O Eternal, my God, you are very great.
You are clothed in glory and majesty, wrapped in light like a robe.
You spread out the heavens like a tent cloth, and God sets the rafters of the high places in the waters.
God makes the winds to be messengers, fiery flames to serve you.
You made the deep cover the earth as a garment, the waves to stand above mountains.
You made springs gush forth in torrents, they make their way between the hills.
You water the mountains from your high places, and the earth is sated from the fruit of your work.
The trees of the eternal drink their fill, the cedars of Lebanon your own planting, where birds make their nest, while the stork has her home in the junipers.
God made the moon to mark the seasons, the sun to know its time to set.
How manifold are your works, O Eternal, in wisdom you have made them all.
May the glory of the Eternal endure forever, and may you rejoice in your works.
Bless the Eternal, O my soul. Hallelujah.
As I sing of one God, I rejoice in the wonders of this world, and I pray for the day when all peoples shall be as one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You can be seated now. V'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha uv'chol mashecha uv'chol meodecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derek Ushachbecha uvakumecha ukshartam laot ayadecha v'hayu latotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mitzutzot beitecha uvisharecha Lema'an titzkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim leohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
I think it would be nice if we recited the V'ahavta in English, just because it might strike you differently after not hearing it for quite a while. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your being. And these words which I command you this day shall be upon your heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. And so shall you dedicate yourselves to your God. I, Adonai, am your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, am your God. When a Jew speaks a word of prayer in love and awe, the power of that word gives birth to God's glory. The angels call out to God, "Who is like unto you?" How great is even a single word of such a prayer? It causes all the angels to sing. All worlds join with the one who serves the eternal. This is the meaning of the Michamocha, that one who sings a song below can arouse so many songs on high.
Ya da 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 da, ya da 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 dim bom. Ya da 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 da, ya da da dim bom. Ya da 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 da, ya da da dim bom. Ya da 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 da, ya da da dim bom. Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele. Nora tehilot osefele. Yada da 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 da, yada da bim bam. Yada da 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 da, yada da bim bam. Yada da da, yada da bim bam. Yada da da da, yada da bim bam.
Nobody has hands? Nobody can pound on a table? Nobody can, that's what adds to the feeling of the song. Yeah, be more expressive. All right, Tefillah on page 34, if you'll all rise if able.
Adonai nefertatitach uvia vita ilatera. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagidol, Hagibor V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Nevi'u L'Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Oser Mashiach Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ezra Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah Rav Hoshea. Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha al Yevurot, U'Midom Elach, Melech Le'mid U'Mechayeh, U'Matzliach Yeshua, B'nai atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh Shemcha kadosh, Kiddushim b'chol yom v'chol v'selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
All right, you may be seated. You're going to do Yismachu?
Yeah.
Yismachu. Page 36
We have
at the
secret
bottom.
language up here at the end of the tefillah, which is, are we doing the Vishamru or are we doing the Yismachu? And so we get to, with the rabbi, we get to point at which one we're doing. It's a secret language. ישמחו. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת, שבת כולם יספעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת, שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ובשביעי רצית בו וקידשת שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת, שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. למעשה וראשית שבת, שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת, שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
That makes a pretty good drum. I like that. I like that. Yes, food. 37. We reach for you, God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain, of which we don't get enough. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own needs against the heaviness of the world's demands. Balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness where we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with that strength, we will turn again to your service. There are times, oh God, when I feel alone, and yet I know in my heart that I am never alone. You are always there, waiting for me to speak to you of my desires, fears, hopes, and dreams. Yet how seldom do I reach out to you to voice my gratitude for all that is beautiful in my life, for all the gifts in my life. Love, family, and friendship have come from you, but the greatest gift of all is your presence, which time and again has given me strength, hope, and courage. In the midst of doubt and confusion, I need to know that you are beside me, not only in the prayer book, but in the depth of my being, my friend, my strength, my God. Shalom Rav, or,
Shalom Rav.
okay, page 38, Shalom Rav.
So after we sing the Shalom Rav, we'll take a few moments for silent meditation. And then we'll follow that up with may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart.
At the top of 40. Okay.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'cholei v'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Yehiyu Liratzon. Yehiyu Liratzon. Imre fi v'hegyon libi. Lefanecha. Lefanecha. Adonai Suri, Suri v'gali, Adonai Suri v'gali. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, be acceptable to you. O God, my rock and my redeemer, O God, my rock and my Redeemer.
I really like that. Okay, sermon. Tonight we have the pleasure of having Neil Ellington come up and give us our Devar Torah for the evening. Neil.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay, brilliant. Yeah, so this week we have Hukas, and I'm reminded of a joke that I heard a bit ago about a young man who's really anxious about going to yeshiva because he feels like he doesn't know anything and he's really intimidated by everything. And so as he's walking into the building, he's saying to himself, like, I'm a nothing, I'm a nothing, I'm a nothing. And then he sits down and he starts saying the same thing over and over again. He says, I'm a nothing, I'm a nothing. And then people start overhearing him. And the Bacher, the young man sitting next to him, gets upset hearing this and he says, oh, you think you're a nothing and you've been here for 5 minutes? And I feel like a central theme in this parsha is doubt and what we do with doubt and how we deal with it. And of course, the biggest thing with this parsha is the red heifer, which, a couple things aside for the red heifer, I'm aware that there's a man in Nebraska who's currently breeding the perfect red heifer, as it's a sign of Mashiach coming, if there is a perfect red heifer with perfectly straight hairs and meets all the requirements. And there is a massive breeding and genetic engineering project to fulfill this goal. Separately on that note, there's also an Israeli film called Red Cow, which I can recommend watching on that subject, which is, it's very weird. I'm also reminded of another story of a Hasidic man who, he was doing the thing where he was calling around different dairies trying to look for a red heifer, but he had the times mixed up and the shadchan, the matchmaker, was calling him. And he was describing what he was looking for. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for like all red hair. It has to be perfectly red hair. The hair has to be perfectly straight. She cannot have had worked a day in her life. And the matchmaker was getting very confused by this. And she only learned that something was amiss once he started talking about using a truck to deliver her. So with the red heifer, it's something that's inherently very strange, but there's an obvious connection here with the golden calf, and in many ways it's a reflection of the golden calf. Instead of it being gold, it's red, and red is supposed to be, a poor color, and it's also a color of sin, and it's used a lot, the color red in sin in Tanakh. I have a quote here from Isaiah 1:18. Come, let us reach an understanding, says God. Be your sins like crimson, they can turn snow white. Be they red as dyed wool, they can become like fleece. And in this way, we have a reflection of everything that went during the golden calf. The cow is burned in the same way that Aaron had fashioned the golden calf out of fire. It has never had a yoke placed on it, like the cow, the red heifer has never done any work, in the same way that the yoke of God has been cast off for a sinner. And the ritual that's being described in the passage also uses crimson thread, hyssop, and this further symbolizes red and the whole aspect of sin. And it's very interesting too, because if you read it, there's a state of impurity for the person who's preparing it, for who's preparing the sacrifice, but the ashes themselves are purifying. And what I think there's a couple things going on here. I think a big part of this is taking something bad and transmuting it and making it into something good. And then I think the second part of this is that sometimes you need to get your hands dirty to accomplish something, and to do something greater than yourself. And two movies come to mind when I was thinking about this. They're very, very different and disparate, but I feel like there's a point here. The two movies that had come to mind are Run Lola Run and The Color of Money. For Run Lola Run, it's a stylistic 90s film taking place in Berlin about a young woman named Lola who's trying to save her boyfriend Manny from being killed in a criminal affair. And unless she intervenes, he will die. And she has a Groundhog Day-like scenario where each time she messes up, she has to relive the exact same day and try a completely different thing each and every single day. I think everyone here is more familiar with Groundhog's Day, so it's a similar idea. I think the interesting thing about this film is there's the perception of our true reality and the way in which we and how that's different from how we see everything, because we're constantly doubting everything within ourselves a lot of the time, and we look at all the different possible outcomes and every single possible iteration of every action we can do that's in this film, and you see everything play out. And in this way, the possible haunts reality as a sort of a ghost, preventing many people from doing what they want to do. But Lola in the film doesn't waver at any point, and she keeps going and going through every iteration until she finds ones that works. There isn't really a moment in which she doubts, and it's kind of through sheer will that she's able to just enforce her will on the world, and she's given, a kind of supernatural way about doing this. This is very contrasting with The Color of Money, which is, by the way, a very underrated Scorsese film with Tom Cruise and Paul Newman. And it's a bit of a sequel to The Hustler, where Paul Newman was a pool hustler who had quit because of a tragic event. And then he sees the young hustler of Tom Cruise and tries to nurture him, but he fails in this. It's only through that failure in the film where he reaches a very, very low point that he's able to have a sort of redemption, and he's able to rediscover his passion and re-enter it with something new. And in this way, I feel like Tom Cruise's character is a bit of a red heifer for Paul Newman, because he is doing something and he's taking things on that are of an impure nature, and he's suffering because of it, but it is what allows him to rise from the ashes that way. And in that way, Israel is being purified through the ashes of the red heifer. And so in Run Little Run, you see the ability to accept the opportunity of miracles and to enforce will. And this is what happens at the end of the Parsha when the Jews invade Arad. And they don't doubt themselves like they did previously with the story of the sending of spies. And they just go for it, and they're able to achieve their objectives. And the other part about doubt too that's talked about in this Parsha is the waters of Meribah and Moses hitting the rock with the staff twice and the water coming out. And there's a lot of debate over what the exact sin was that Moses did in terms of hitting the rock. One of the ideas is that he hit it twice instead of once, in that he was doubting that it would be able to work as God told him that it would. And then another thing is just hitting it at all, because he was instructed to speak to the rock, not to hit it. And then the other two aspects as well is Moses saying he referred to the Israelites as rebels and got angry with them in a way that God was not angry with them at the time. And he said, "We shall bring forth water from the rocks," and didn't say that Hashem or God would bring water forth from the rocks. And in this, we see a lot of different aspects of doubt. And Moses and Aaron weren't allowed to enter the land because of this incident specifically, because they had experienced doubt, whereas everyone else was able to enter. And the sin here is, of doubt and arrogance. And one thing that's talked about in a lot of Kabbalistic literature is that you have this idea of kind of the sources of different sins and how they relate to the Sephiroth and the Tree of Life. And one of the things is what is the source within the Sephiros? And the source is referred to as Bina, or understanding. And in this way, it's the negative side of understanding and everything that comes along with that, which I think in this case, and in many cases, can often be manifested as doubt and being indecisive, and how the road to hell is paved with good intentions, because we keep running different things through our minds instead of just taking action. And on that note, another aspect of the indecisiveness is I feel like we're a bit of an indecisive people at times. I can say, working at a kosher restaurant, everyone is very, very antsy about making sure their order is placed well. And if you go to a kosher cafe, everyone is very making sure the line goes as quickly as possible. But then when it's their turn to order, everyone's just looking over the menu. And I feel like with indecisiveness as well, this is something that's talked a lot about. One of the things we actually talked about in the Talmud group on Monday was about the story of the destruction of the Second Temple and how it was actually due to indecisiveness is the way that the narrative is told. The way the narrative goes is that the Romans were forcing us to take an offering, to do a sacrifice of a cow, but the issue was is that the cow had a blemish on it. And so there's a lot of debate over what to do on the subject. Should we accept the offering so that we can appease the Romans, but at the same time we would be not giving up a proper offering because it has a blemish on it? Or should we reject it because it's not a proper offering and risk their wrath? And the action that's eventually taken is that we don't do anything about it. And what it says specifically in the Gemara is that the temple was destroyed and exile occurred and Jerusalem was sacked because of the indecision of the rabbi who was overseeing the issue. And going through doubt and indecision, and if we had just made a choice at that point, we could have dealt with the consequences in either way. But I think we can all think of different points in our life in which not taking an action was worse than taking any action at all. And you look at this parsha and you look at the conquest of Arad or the two films I mentioned, and it's really just kind of the belief and faith when given the opportunity that allows you to achieve something greater than yourself. And on a closing thought, the parsha is named Hukas, and that's because the parsha opens with the phrase Zos Hukas HaTorah, which means like this is a commandment of, this is like a statute or a law of Torah. And that term is actually used by Rambam and other writers as to refer to the laws that don't make sense, that are not apparent in terms of what their meaning is. It's a bit mysterious. Because a lot of the things we do are inherently arbitrary. The examples that I've used in the past are not eating pistachios on Saturday or shaking a lemon before you eat for a week every year. And the thing though is that with all of these things, we're supposed to still do them because we have the faith that there's some underlying wisdom that we're not aware of that gets revealed later. And we could see this even with hand washing at the time would have been viewed as something that was bizarre and didn't really have any significance. And now we can more see the importance of it. And so the red heifer seems, I think in many ways, is like a bizarre concept of we have this perfectly red cow that's supposed to cleanse us of sins in some very arcane ritual. But I think like many things in the text, they reveal a greater truth. Shabbat Shalom.
While you were talking about that, I thought about our indecision, our holding off and saying, can I, will I, do I, what do I do? I was thinking about a lot of that comes into your faith in God, your faith in the world, your faith in other people, your faith that if I do my best, right or wrong, right, it's going to be okay. We'll learn to deal with it. So I think faith, like you said at the end, very important aspect of that whole thing is having the courage by having the faith that you'll be all right. You'll do what's right if you do it in your heart, from your heart. Thank you, Neil. Thank you so much. And we'll have more to talk about that tomorrow morning, won't we?
I think especially with Gary there.
Yes. Yes. Okay, announcements? Or do we do Mishabera? Which one? Announcements first? Okay, announcements first. We have our president. We've got Steve Ducar here, who's going to do our announcements for us. And the Mishabera list.
Here and here.
Oh, he put it down at the bottom.
Yep.
Very good.
We got it covered.
Okay. I'm going to add one here.
So while Molly's marking this up, just a quick joke. Do you realize that cows kill more people than sharks? The question is, how often do cows kill sharks?
Not very often.
Not
I
very
wouldn't
often,
have picked
no.
up- no.
Exactly. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming out. It's good to see everyone here tonight. I am Steve Dukar. I am the newly elected president of the congregation. So hooray for me. Hooray. So a couple announcements. The office is closed on Monday, June 26th. The office will open for normal hours on Tuesday, June 27th. If there happens to be an emergency that occurs which requires rabbinical assistance, please contact the rabbi directly. He will be in town, but the office will be closed. Bob is currently traveling and through Wednesday, but he will continue to monitor email and phones as best he can. Good news, he's in the country versus being out. He will respond to you sometime the same business day, if at all possible. So if you'd like to help out others and do a great mitzvah, we have our CKA blood drive coming up. CKA is pronounced another quarterly blood drive in partnership with Carter Blood Care on July 29th from noon until 4 p.m. Remember, every donation can help up to 3 people. Every drop counts. You can find details and reserve your times on the website. Thank you for helping us with this mitzvah and the benefit that helps the entire community. So one thing that'll be changing here very soon, and we're going to get a taste of it tonight per se, is that we are changing how we're hosting our onegs. Beginning in July of 2023, Congregation Kol Ami is changing our oneg process. Starting with the oneg on July 7th, families will be able to pick a date or dates where they would like to host an oneg. You will be able to sign up yourself on the website under Member Tools. You may host and provide food directly, or you can sponsor an oneg with a minimum donation of $40. So guess where it is? On the website. Please help us with this important mitzvah and sign up on the website now. We want to make sure we have coverage for every Friday night, so please don't wait. We need your help with this. With that, we are going to, as customary here at Congregation Kol Ami, we want to honor those in need of healing with our Misha Berach list. I'll get it out. Is there anyone in here that would like to add a name to our Misha Berach list? Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Toby?
Carol, Isaac,
Thank you. Kevin? Thank you. Thank you. You're good. All right. If you would like to join us on page 40 of your Siddur or on the back of your pamphlet. Yes, I will read the list, yes. So those, in addition to those that were mentioned here, Bert Barnes, Joyce Bloom, Nellie Boving, George Cavanius, Mark Davis, Jeanette Dubrow, Francine Feingold, Deborah Goldman, Michelle Griffith, Hannah Johnson, Molly Kalig, John Kaufman, Deb Kaufman, Janice Keener, Lauren Koenig, Alex Koenig, Al Linden, and Al Linden, twice, all right. Matt Levine, Phyllis Lorelei, Steve Mydrick, Mal Miller, Jane Mobley, Anthony Nira, Jack Nygren, Paul Redwood Jr., Helen Rubel, Adrian Sandler, Dale Seaver, Susan Tabor, Happy Waterman, Howie Watt, Wynn Marks, and Joyce Thornton. Again, if you could join us on page 40 in your Siddur for the Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekar Habraha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you. And just really quick, we may have missed this earlier, but I just want to touch on it. Anniversaries this past week that we're celebrating here at Congregation Kol Ami. Marcia and Deborah Amantor, Stuart and Amberly Michnick, Paul and Sandy Silverlead, Andrew and Sherry Berman, Bob and Becky Leonard, Charles and Lisa Paley. We also had birthdays this past week, Jacob Eckberg, Melissa Hart, Deb Gelman, and Matthew Polikoff. Excuse me.
A lot of anniversaries in June. Yep. I wonder why. All right. Okay. If you'll all stand for the Aleinu on page 82.
Bayom hahu, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. Or wait, maybe not. We're going right into Kaddish, so yeah, just, oh, go ahead, stand it. That's good. Okay. We recall with love and gratitude the names of those whom we have recently lost, as well as those whose anniversary of death occurred this week. Has anyone lost anybody in the last 7 days? Shiva? Anybody in Shloshim, having lost someone in the last 30 days? Thank you. Did I see a hand over? No? Okay, very good. The yard sites we have this week: Anthony Brill, Ellen Burke, Victoria Davison, Helmut Doring, Ruth Lyon Kenter, Evelyn Klein, Enneman, Ruth Gutler, Sarah Mead, Charles Belton Neff, Rebecca Mansky Shane, Dan Shiro, and Jeffrey Watt. Any other yard sites? Thank you. Very good. Okay, and we will recite Kaddish on 85, page 85. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah V'Alma Divra Kirte V'Imlik Malchute B'Chayachon Uv'Yomachon Uv'Kaye Dekol Beit Yisrael Bagala Uv'Zman Kariv V'Meru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarak Le'Olam Almei Almai Yit Barak V'Yish Tabak V'Yit Pa'ar V'Yit Namen V'Yit Naseh V'Yit Hadar V'Yit Haleh V'Yit Halal Shemei Dekudashah B'Richu Le'Lam Min Kol Birchatav Shirata Tushbachatav V'Nechamata Damin Ram B'Alma V'Meru Amen Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya L'Kain Elenu V'Kol Yisrael V'Meru Amen Osei Shalom B'Mermav Moya say shalom, Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael, v'meru, amen. May the one who causes peace on high cause peace to descend upon us and upon all Israel, and let us say, amen. Did you decide on a closing song? You may be seated. Yes.
Let's do Hine Matov U'Manayim,
Oh, yeah.
hopefully in a round or a cannon.
Okay, we
Or
can try
something
that,
like that we
definitely.
can shoot it out, okay?
Mhm.
And that's on page 100 in your books. All right, so it's the Sephardic version of it. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Gam Yachad, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Shabbat Shalom. We will have Kiddush in Onegi Hall, challah and wine. Thank you so much for coming. A little improvising there. Finish off that phrase and.
It's gonna go on, but